Following the Pittsburgh Steelers signing Mike McCarthy and fans being absolutely livid, the shocking truth has just dropped behind the move that Omar has made, and fans are not only furious, but now we know the truth behind why Omar and Art Rooney decided to go with Mike McCarthy over other options. We're going to break down the real reason behind the signing as well, rather the hire, as well as a ton of other things on this episode, ladies and gentlemen, including some notes surrounding their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers. You're going to want to stay tuned until the very end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into it, a quick thank you for all your guys' support. It truly means the world to me. And in what has been a very, very frustrating a few hours since the McCarthy signing, the good news is there's not much good news actually right now. We do have some things to go over today that are slightly encouraging. But let's dive into it. In case you missed it, the Steelers have officially hired head coach Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. And McCarthy grew up in Pittsburgh, age 62, gets a chance to coach a team he grew up rooting for. And a lot of people are wondering why. We now have a few different reasons as to why he's going to try to take this team that perhaps might have Aaron Rodgers on it to the next level. But let's start with this. And there is a report that dropped that reveals kind of the true reason, but I want to start with this because it gives some context. The Steelers clearly valued Mike McCarthy's background working with quarterbacks and leading offenses, two areas that Pittsburgh has lagged in the post-Ben Roethlisberger era. Rooney said he wanted to win now. Guess he wanted a vet coach. Can this truly propel the franchise? I have my doubts. Now, this is true. They clearly, and there is some positives with Mike McCarthy I'll briefly dive into here, but the reason, it stems beyond just McCarthy's background. There's one aspect of the team and a relationship that has come together to make Mike McCarthy the head coach that people are talking about, and the real reason why they got him is now revealed. I'll dive into it in 1 second, but before we do, a quick reminder, this video is brought to you by Gosse, and if you download it using the link below and enter code DIGESTNFL, you get $20 when you trade your first 100, and Gosse is the largest prediction market in the United States, and folks, on their platform, you can trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, and pretty much everything. And whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Gosse is live in all 50 states. And for us sports fans, you can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market. And you can even trade on who you think is going to win the NFC Championship between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to be trading $100 on the Los Angeles Rams, and you win $223 if you do that. And folks, it's genuinely a smarter way to use your sports or news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. So make sure to use code DIGESTNFL. And thank you to Gosse once again for sponsoring this video. Let's dive right back into the news. So clearly the relationship and the history of Mike McCarthy is what Omar wanted. And the thing is, he's basically Mike Tomlin V2, but better offensively, right? He can lead quarterbacks, he can lead offenses. Mike Tomlin could lead defenses. They both have very similar records. Now, you can see here, they basically coach the same amount of seasons, a fairly similar win percentage. Tomlin was a little bit better. They both won one Super Bowl. Playoff, they're both pretty rough in the playoffs. It is not the hire I wanted, and that's obviously no secret. However, this came out, and this is one of the real reasons behind it. And you can see here from Mike DeFabo, Mike McCarthy worked with a young Omar and Andy Waddell in the early 2000s in New Orleans. Of course, Andy Waddell is the Steelers' current assistant GM. The Pittsburgh native is reuniting with the now Steelers GM and assistant GM. So this is one of the reasons. And back then in the early 2000s with New Orleans, of course, you could see Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. There was ultimately too many relationships between Omar the assistant GM, even owner Art Rooney II, for this not to happen. And it's an unfortunate reality. Yes, they love the way that Mike McCarthy can lead an offense. He had Aaron Rodgers, one of the best, top 5 quarterbacks of all time, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at the time. The best, probably. Tom Brady, obviously, one of the best, right? He can lead an offense, but the question is now, what is the floor and the ceiling? This is a floor-raising move. It is safer to go with Mike McCarthy, a guy who's run multiple teams before, than it is a guy like Chris Shula or the potential of Nate Scheelhaas, a offensive mastermind. But, what is your ceiling here? Yes, and some people most people are livid, but I see some fans out there excited about the fact that, Mike McCarthy does have that experience running the offense. I just don't really get it because, again, who he hires is going to, matter. If they want to bring Aaron Rodgers back, that'll matter. But at the end of the day here, they're very similar, Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy, when it comes to their overall accolades. And the truth is, there's so much internal chemistry between them. They just wanted to bring Mike McCarthy in. And I don't think that's the way that they should have handled it, because I get, obviously, relationships are a part of any job, right? It's a part of whether you're at the top like this, NFL coach, or whether you're, doing something else. It matters at every job. but I don't think they should have went with a 62-year-old because of the relationships, especially when Alex Kozora reported that the Steelers opted not to wait, not to wait to even talk to Chris Shula or Nate Scheelhaas. Not sure what the rush was, given that there was no other team pursuing McCarthy. Brutal, and we're going to have a full video covering that shortly. Hiring McCarthy as the Steelers head coach just to get Aaron Rodgers back is such a terrible talking point. And that's from ZP Steelers 2. It is. It's such a dumb thing to do. Now, I don't believe that they hired Mike McCarthy, and reports are coming out that they didn't hire Mike to bring back Aaron Rodgers. It just might be a byproduct where Aaron Rodgers might come over because Mike McCarthy is here. But folks, again, we're not talking about, an elite quarterback. Now, and Aaron Rodgers isn't an elite quarterback anymore. You can see here some immediate staff connections. We're going to dive into all these. It might be interior linebackers coach Scott McCurley, some Bears guys. I'm not worried about this at the moment. Their OC is going to be important. Does Mike McCarthy call his own shots? Who knows at the end of the day? But you look at this team now, and one of the biggest selling points is Mike McCarthy's, offensive genius, air quotes, with quarterbacks. The Steelers don't have a quarterback. Now, that is an area they need to improve on. I guess if they want to run Will Howard, they want to run Mason Rudolph, they want to bring Aaron Rodgers back. If you bring Aaron Rodgers back, you're going to propel yourself back into mediocrity for another year, in a year where you could either tank and get a good pick, the number one overall pick, or, obviously, if things fall your way, or get a younger quarterback and develop them under that. And if their plan is to trade for, Kyler Murray, or trade for a somewhat younger, late 20s, young quarterback, and maybe they want to go for a guy like Malik Willis, and they think Mike McCarthy can develop that, then maybe it'll make some sense. And depending on who his OC is, depending on who they get as their defensive coordinator, depending on what happens with their quarterback position, I'll judge this a little bit more. But for them to not even wait, it is sickening. And the truth behind it is, yes, they got him because they want to have him develop a quarterback, I would assume, in the offense, because the offense is a bigger problem. The offense is atrocious, though. Like, you have DK Metcalf. Outside of that, you have no wide receivers. You have your tight ends who, obviously, Arthur Smith didn't have used. And Arthur Smith didn't get hired yet elsewhere as a head coach. So I sure as hell hope he's not going to come back as the OC. Mike McCarthy and Arthur Smith as a duo is nightmare fuel, depending who they get as their DC. Terrell Austin's gone. I'm just sickened, folks. And you can see here, again, they valued the quarterbacks and leading offenses. But who do you even have to lead the offense at this point? You don't have a quarterback right now. So it is sickening. And you can see here from Nick Farabaugh, Steelers reporter and writer, this is as bland of a hire as the Steelers should get on any level. McCarthy was let go in Dallas in large part because he couldn't win a playoff game. It's like banging your head into the wall repeatedly, time and time again, expecting something different. It is sickening. And now that the truth is revealed, makes it almost even worse. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on this, folks. At the end of the day here, was Mike McCarthy, a beast out there in Green Bay? Sure. Doesn't make any difference? No. This team is going to be stuck for a while unless they make some interesting moves. And now all eyes are pointing to the quarterback position. We'll keep you up to date. Receptively.